How you doing, everybody? We made it to 2023 and we're back to working on the club cart. So here we go. We are excited to be back to working on the club car. We already had one build day. You've seen the update on Steve's channel where we drove the chassis. So in this segment, I'm going to get this rear cover pretty much wrapped up with all its fiberglass parts. So let me show you what I've been working on. In Steve's update, you saw where we removed the fiberglass pieces from the foam plug. And you saw where I used lacquer thinner to eat away the foam in this piece, and then I cut out this frame. It's much lighter now, and then this fits over it. So on the larger one, the blue tape is holding it in place because I've glued it on with this water-based contact cement. I applied it last night, so I'm going to remove the tape and then I can pretty much install it on the cart at that point. This one I still need to add glue, so I'm going to do that next. I've finished gluing the parts together. Turn this over. Now you can see the plywood skeleton without the foam in there. It's nice and lightweight. And the plywood allows me to screw it down, bolt it to the rear cover, the metal cover, and then here this one's ready to take apart. I can remove the tape, so that goes in the lower portion in the rear. I'm about ready to set this entire cover on the cart. I've attached this lower piece, and this one I'm going to leave loose for the time being. I'll show you that in a minute, but I am going to put a couple screws in it long enough to install this tail piece. Okay, I have the mock-up finished here, looking pretty good. I need to do a little work at these transitions down here, but since these covers, upper and lower, and this tail section are permanently attached, I can do that. I can finesse this to be real nice. We'll probably cut an opening here so we can add fuel. Also, I have to take this thing apart again because I have to rig up the exhaust, the header, and the muffler, which will probably exit down under here. We'll see. Definitely looking like a Samson. Okay, I've been working on the exhaust, the header and the exhaust. Let me show you that. Both Steve and I had leftover parts from a do-it-yourself header kit that you buy from NR Racing. It's a bunch of different straight pieces, curved pieces. You can basically make your own header. So I was able to cobble together some parts and pieces here. They're all tacked right now. I have to finish welding them. And then down below there I used a hole saw to cut an opening. That will also allow heat to escape that's under the cover here. So I think that's going to work out okay. I might have to make a little strap that goes from here to here for vibration's sake. So this cover will be attached from underneath with screws inside the rear cover, and we'll have to cut an opening right here for the gas cap, be able to reach our hand in there, so we can add fuel. So eventually we'll be able to remove it by pulling it back and taking it off like that. To get to the gas cap, here will be the opening. It's 6.5 inches, and it's centered right over the gas cap. So that's adequate room to get a person's hand in there to add fuel. Okay, I have the cutout finished. I used a little bit of 220 sandpaper to smooth out the edges. I can easily reach in and get to the gas cap. I have the exhaust header out of the cart now so I can finish welding up all the joints. Well, I've made some pretty good progress here. I finished welding up the header, so that's finished now. I think that turned out acceptable. So let's talk about steering wheels. This was the one that Steve brought over. This is your typical go-kart steering wheel. They work just fine. If you're not inclined to make your own steering wheel, this is a good way to go. This is the monocar steering wheel, which is the same steering wheel. Here I added some cotton string. I wrapped it around, and then I used this polyurethane varnish to coat it. And over many years of service, it's never come apart, never frayed. I've been able to wash it, so that's a good way to go. Now, as luck would have it, this steering wheel I made a few years ago. I think it was when I was doing the BMW. I had drawn this pattern, this web shape, on a piece of wood and taken it to my buddy who has a water jet machine, CNC, and he digitized this or scanned it and then cut out 3 of these ribs, I think. This is 1/8" steel or 10 gauge. And then I had another buddy roll me a piece of, this is 1/2 inch tubing, I think, maybe 3/4. And then I welded it on, and it was a temporary steering wheel for the BMW. So I had this out in the shed, and Steve and I were talking about doing a flat steering wheel instead of one with a dish. And it already was drilled for the quick disconnect. That's this one right here, Speedway quick disconnect. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to decorate this thing. I have some gray spray paint I'm going to put on. I bought some cotton cord. This is 1/8 inch, or what do they call it? 9/64. I'm going to wrap it with this. Then I have this, I really got this because it's a different color. It's a smaller twine that I'll use around these transitions right here. And once I get it all wrapped, painted, I'll apply some of this varnish to protect it, and maybe I'll come up with some kind of decorative. It'd be nice if I had an acorn nut or something there. And then of course I have to weld it onto this shaft. So I've already got that figured out. Flush with this right here. I'll put a weld in there, I'll line up everything carefully, and then we'll be ready to go. I'm ready to weld on the quick disconnect fitting. I've lined everything up carefully. I have the pitman arm pointing straight down, steering wheel centered, and I'm going to tack it now. I've been working on this steering wheel. I painted the center web with this machine gray Ace. I like this particular premium brand because it dries in 15 to 20 minutes. My plan for this steering wheel is pretty much what I did on the monocar steering wheel. Right here are shorter pieces of string that are glued in place. I have this contact cement. This has a brush applicator. So I'll put contact cement right here. I'll glue them on, and then this wrap here, which will be the brown string, will cover up the ends, make it look clean. Then I'll apply the varnish, the polyurethane, and that will finish up the steering wheel. So basically this is a three-step process. First I'll put on the contact cement. It's just regular old contact cement at these 4 locations. Then I'll glue on the strings. That's step 1. Step 2 will be to wrap around using this cord in between the quadrants. And step 3 will be to wrap right in here to clean it up. I guess there's 4 steps. That'll be apply the varnish. And I think that'll make for a decent looking steering wheel. Here you can see where I've wrapped it already in 3 locations. This is just a temporary string to hold those in until the glue dries. I've already applied contact cement here. I have my strips, and basically what I do is just put a little bit on each end. When I get to the end, I'll readjust this and then I'll line everything up carefully. I'm just eyeballing it. So now I line it up with this. Just a little bit of adjustment here. So I'm about finished with this quadrant, and I put contact cement under here and I'll put it under here. And the varnish will really tighten things up, but at least at the ends it'll stay down. I'd say I have about 3 to 4 hours into this, about $25 worth of items, and I'm ready to apply this polyurethane here, and that'll finish her up. I'm adding the polyurethane now. It'll probably take 3 coats, I'm guessing. I went with just a regular cotton string in these sections because I wanted cotton, not nylon. This is shaping up nicely. I have 2 coats of the urethane on it. I'm going to go for 3, maybe 4. I want it to be darker than that even. So we're getting there. Well, I have to say that I enjoyed working on this steering wheel. Turned out pretty good, I think. Should hold up well. And the gray color looks nice. It's a neutral color, so it'll go with whatever color we paint the car. Alright, well I think that will end this update. And we're going to have a build day next week. We didn't have one this week. So thanks for watching. Check out Steve's channel, and we'll see you next time, everybody.